Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and this is the Piracy Show. Now, on today's show, we're going to be dealing with a very special topic. Now, previously, some people have asked me why I've never dealt with this topic, and why I generally, I laughed at it. And as the game progressed, even though I saw the situation that some people were concerned about, I found it to be comical, and I always just, it's not worth doing. But now we're at a point where we can do this topic and we can have some fun with it too. So today we're going to be talking about armor in the 3.0 and beyond Star Citizen universe. Now, a lot of people would say, well, you know, there's plenty of armor in the Star Citizen universe. Yes, and there is plenty of choice, and thank God for that. Because I think one of the things that people don't appreciate, and I'm not just talking about players, but I'm talking about developers and artists as well. One of the things that I don't think that they really appreciate, and this kind of moves into a larger topic of sometimes, you know, I'll say I don't really think that they really understand the game that they're building sometimes, or at least there are people within certain areas of the game's development that don't really understand the full scope of what they're developing, and usually during interviews that sometimes becomes a little painfully obvious. And one of them is in the designs of armor for Star Citizen, the various types of armor that you can purchase. And some of them are fantastic, are very well designed and brilliant, especially, you know, with the given limitations that we're going to have, carrying the extra weight, all that, and its effect on fatigue. Fine, cool, I understand. But some sets of armor are are absolutely terrible. And now that you're in the PTU, I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown and a little bit of information I think that will help you choose the right set of armor. And hint, you can't buy it at Port Olisar, at least not yet. Now we're here landing on the dark side of a moon, and this is kind of to help illustrate a point, but this is just more or less background footage, because one of the more important considerations when you're choosing your armor suit is visibility, is the ability for the enemy to see you. Now, I'm not going to a point where I'm full on asking for thermoptic camo in the game because, well, I wouldn't be opposed. I definitely would not be opposed to that for some of the things that I want to do. But in general, you have to consider the visibility of the armor that you're purchasing. And in truth, the best armor that you can buy is available at Grim Hex. The armor that's in Port Olisar is trash. Now, the pirate sets of armor that you can get in game, you know, of course they're dark and they're criminal looking, they're nefarious. Oh my. But there's something more important about these suits of armor. Now, so there are varied sets. There are lights, there's mediums, there's heavies. You get the idea. But one of the most important features that these armor suits have is the fact that they don't have a lot of lights all over them. They don't have like a helmet that illuminates the player's face. Now, this is kind of a holdover from a lot of sci-fi movies where you would have lights inside the helmet to kind of show the actor's face. And this is something that unfortunately crosses over into video games because they go, oh, that's the way a helmet's supposed to look. It's supposed to light everything up so you can see the person's face and facial expressions and watch them do their acting thing. But in reality, that's the furthest thing from the truth. That's the last thing that you would want. Now, I'm not a member of the military, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that if you're walking around in whatever combat gear in a battle situation and your combat gear was highlighting your cranium and was covered with all kinds of little lights to show the enemy where you were, I kind of think that that would be a bad idea. especially if you were ever to deploy into a dark environment like this moon. Now, it's important to acknowledge before we kind of make too many jokes about it, of course, is that there was a logical reason to do this. Of course, in Squadron 42, you hire an actor like Mark Hamill, you want to see Mark Hamill. You want to see what you paid for. I mean, I can't think of anybody who would spend a whole bunch of money to hire Mark Hamill and fly him out and then to have him say nothing and only be seen for like maybe 10 seconds. I mean, that would just be ludicrous, right? No one would do that. And certainly in Squadron 42, you want to see the guy. You've paid for the guy to be there. You want to see him throughout the game. So a lot of the Marine helmets are probably shared assets from Squadron 42 where they needed to be able to see the actors within those helmets, and maybe some of the civilian helmets as well. They also maybe are used as assets in Squadron 42. Once again, you want to see the actor's face, right? But once again, once you're in game, you're probably going to want to get away from a lot of these brightly colored and brightly lit outfits, not just talking about the face, but the armor itself. Many of them have little lights or little reflective surfaces. They've got gold, they've got bright colors. You probably want to get away from that as much as possible, because that could tip off an enemy as to where you're hiding in the game, or give your location away, or make it easier for them to shoot you. So chances are, like, there's a lot of people making a lot of great videos out there, and certainly there are people talking about, oh, you know, right now it's a really good idea to make money as a trader in Star Citizen. Buy here, sell there. That sort of thing. I made 1 million UEC in 5 hours. Look at this. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But one of the things to consider is that if you're going to be doing anything other than trading in Star Citizen, it may be a good idea to go out to Grim Hex and get some real armor, and not the stuff that you get everywhere else, which more or less only serves to, you know, make it easier to shoot you. Which, you know, once again, going back to that military thing, I've never been in the military, but I'm pretty sure that the helmets that they wear and the uniforms that they wear in no way make it easier for them to be shot. Like, I don't see a helmet that outlines and lights up a soldier's cranium like, oh, Mr. Taliban, yes, my cranium right here, go ahead. I don't think that that's a thing. I really don't. So, yeah, the Marine armor might look cool, but the truth is, you know, even if it has the same armoring values as the pirate armor, you want the pirate armor instead, because, you know, why make it easier for the people who are trying to kill you, right? Which in 3.0 you're going to learn very quickly people are trying to do. Even people that you may not think are pirates. I mean, one of the things that I noticed in 3.0, and like I myself was guilty of it as well, is that players have a lot of bad habits that have been taught to them by single player games. One of them is, like, let's say the Crash Starfarer. The Crash Starfarer, oh, go get the black box, go check out the crew, you know, go retrieve this piece of cargo. Well, see, the thing about that is everyone else sees that same mission, and there's only one black box. So only one person's going to get away with it. So you got to kind of think about these things. You got to think that if I go in there to try and get the black box, there's going to be other people who are trying to get the black box. Or maybe there's somebody who just wants to troll, and they're hiding out in the wreck, and they're waiting for people to run by, and then they just shoot them in the back and steal their ship. That sort of thing. Those are things that you're going to have to take into consideration. So why make it easier for the opposition just to wear a cool looking set of armor? And I mean, quite frankly, the pirate armor is cooler looking than the regular armor anyway. So, I mean, that's not even really valid, you know? And it's one of these things that, you know, you gotta kind of coax people out of their Call of Duty behaviors and move them into the Arma type of behaviors, you know? You have to kind of wean them off of the silliness, because, like, you know, when people are posting threads saying, oh, I want more vibrant colors on my spacesuit, and I want this, and I want that, and I want a neon green submachine gun that goes with it. And it's just like, do you even understand the game that you bought? Do you understand? Because I don't think that you do. A neon colored gun, like, hey, Mr. Bad Guys, I'm over here. Check out my cool gun. Pew, 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 bang, and your head comes off. You know what I mean? It's like when I see these kinds of threads and like, oh, I wish they chose more vibrant colors. All the colors in this game are so drab. It's just like they're drab for a reason. Do you not understand the reason? So, in closing, you know, there's a lot of things to go and explore in the 3.0 PTU. There's a ton of things to go and check out, and there's a ton of ways to have fun. We're now getting to the point where it is almost like a real game that you can play for hours on end. Certainly I already have. But do yourself a favor. Go to GrimHex and get some real armor and some normal guns. Now, I know there are people who still be like, oh no, I want a neon green body armor with a day glow submachine gun, and you know, because they got to make a splash on the scene, but just consider that splash that you're making is going to be your blood going all over the place. So do yourselves a favor, go to GrimHex, get a pirate set of armor. These are the best sets of armor in the game, irregardless of armor values or anything else, because the first thing that your armor should do is not make you a target. And most of these civilian sets of armor make you a very well lit and very prominent target. Anyways, that's the show for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.